Okay, so topic of today is we're going to look at something that probably we haven't talked about a lot today. We've been talking about technology a lot. There's actually something which is more important, which is everybody here. So the employees of all the fantastic companies that everybody's working for. And that's what we're going to be talking about. How do you shape a digital employee experience? How do you make that work in a post-COVID situation? And specifically, how did Proximus do that with the product called LumApps, which is going to be the red thread in our session today. Okay, so fortunately, I'm not alone here to talk about this. So we have Herman from Proximus and Chanel from LumApps directly. So let's introduce ourselves very quickly. Herman.
Thank you for inviting me, Herman, or thanking for inviting Proximus. I work in the communication and collaboration IT team, and I'm responsible, next to my colleagues, for the rollout, the setup, changes, and technical support of the LumApps intranet.
So you have the IT cap on.
Yep.
But we're going to be talking mostly business today. Okay.
Yep.
Have a look at the use cases that LumApps is making possible for you guys at Proximus. We also have Chanel here from LumApps. Chanel.
Hi everyone, so Chanel McFarlane. I am the Customer Success Manager at LumApps, and I work notably with Proximus. I have the privilege of working with them. And you probably have two questions there. Is my real name Chanel, and what is LumApps? I'll answer both. Yes, and LumApps is an employee experience platform which we use to personalize the communication we have with employees, really empowering them to be able to get the job done as best as they can. That means connecting them to tools, people, and information, all at their disposal via our platform. And in a nutshell, one platform, infinite possibilities. So I guess that's why we're going to take a bit of time today with Herman to go through what they've been able to do to achieve with the LumApps vision and make it their own.
Actually, you said it all.
You can go into more detail. So if you don't mind, would you like to tell us a bit more about, do you have a...
Yeah. Just want to quickly run through the agenda. We only have 5 topics, so we'll make it short. So one thing which interests me personally is how does Proximus, really big company, how does the employee experience, what does it look like after the whole COVID situation? So what has changed in the way people communicate, the way that they collaborate together, and also on technology side. We're going to quickly introduce their platform, which is called WAP+. So it's actually the LumApps product for their social intranet. We're going to have a look at how did Proximus handle change management, putting this platform in place, not just focusing on technology, but also on the people. And then a look behind the screens, which is Herman's core role. How do you organize the technical aspects? How do you manage and maintain the platform on an operational point of view? And then have a quick look at what's next in the ambitious pipeline of Proximus. Okay? So, Chanel.
Herman, please tell us a little bit about Proximus, your story, about the company culture, and how exactly you are empowering your employees.
Well, about our culture, our CEO strongly believes in a customer-focused organization where also all employees can challenge their job and can grow. We translated that into a think possible culture, meaning making things better for the customer, speaking out loud, helping each other, communicating, bringing new solutions, and we can even knock on the door of our CEO.
Is that literally?
Yes, we can book every week a 15-minute slot, a meeting actually with the CEO. Yeah, okay, one a week. Yeah.
So being available is a way to empower the employees as well.
Yeah.
Great.
And as an example of giving people more things to do next to their own job, we have our internal music band with in the middle our CEO.
Oh, wow.
Guillaume Boutin.
Guillaume Boutin.
Yeah.
We also have our flying reporters who go along in the country with the ExCo members to visit departments all over Belgium.
And those are actually regular employees?
These are internal employees, yes.
Yeah. So the actual local news is made by local people?
Yes. Literally
giving them a voice. Okay. Herman, for the people who may have Googled Herman before the session, if not, do it afterwards. You kind of have a musical background. I promised not to talk about this, but yes. Are you in the Proximus band?
No, not yet. Or not, no.
No, never.
So that's what's next for Proximus. Get your career going again. Okay.
Yep.
Then, so that's kind of the culture, the think possible. empowering the employees, listening to them. But on a more practical point of view, what are the things that help you put this into practice? And specifically after COVID situation, what has changed for the employee experience?
Before COVID, we already had our policy that allowed us 3 work-home days, and our technical infrastructure to support that. And at the outbreak, I must say our engineers did a hell of a job to upscale that network, so everybody could work from home at the same time. It was done in 3 days. So at that point, nothing really changed for the employees. But what really changed was the trust of our management in the employees working at home. And it helped us strengthen their vision on activity-based working, meaning working at that location that suits best for your activity, whether it's virtually or in campuses or in places or in spaces, and that for the employees and the vendors and the customers at the same time.
Okay. Herman, a quick question. So the trust in the employees working from home, was that something which was already present, or?
It was more difficult for a lot of managers to trust the employees working at home, because they didn't have a grip on them. But they were forced also in the COVID. So they had to work from home, and even my manager said after 3 months, actually, it seems good, it works.
So they experienced it and
adapted quite
from
quickly.
practice.
And even we started implementing the LumApps application in March. We started March, May, June.
2020.
That's when I joined the team, 2020, and we rolled out the LumApps application in December the 2nd, so completely in a virtual.
Completely remote.
Completely remote.
Yeah. So that also showed that you can do large-scale projects as well, being connected digitally. Okay.
Yeah, at the same time, we also pay attention to the individual well-being, meaning the work-home relation, the balance, yes. And we improved the mobile, what's the word? The mobility plan, and of course, on the other hand, also the importance of bringing people back together, because we were used to work 1 year, 2 years from home, and it's still difficult to bring them back to the office.
So there was a lot of positives that were taken from this whole outbreak in terms of uniting the team again and creating a new vision for how people collaborate.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I also have Studio Proximus here. Could you explain what the concept is?
Yeah, one of the things, the good things of COVID, the bad thing of COVID, but we couldn't have big events anymore, communications. So Marcus Eggermont of our communications team started on his own a little mobile studio. He bought a camera and he started doing the communication. And it has grown out to a fully equipped studio with the green key walls, with multiple stages, camera, lights, a bit like this. We also have the possibility to go to other places with 2 mobile studios at the same time.
That's amazing.
So, and also those interviewers are the internal people.
Doing the interviews with?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So that's actually another example of the employee empowerment, right? Marcus going out buying his own camera, and now they have a full-fledged professional.
He didn't buy himself the camera.
He got a signature,
he got a small budget,
yeah, he had good sponsors, but it rewards the initiative of
yes.
Great. Okay, so let's have a look at WAP Plus. Actually, when Googling WAP Plus, this is all I found. I probably took the wrong record from your record collection. So let's have a look at the real WAP Plus, which looks something like this. Chanel.
Oh, so with Devo Team, this is something that you were mentioning before that you worked on during COVID, especially 2020, so it was in the peak of it all. And it was something that replaced one of your old solutions, which was Jive. And with the whole comprehensive solution, you ended up with LumApps, which is a privilege always. How do you position WAP Plus and, as it's called within Proximus, which I'm sure you'll explain later, as was tried to Google. What are the key cases for you in using WAP?
So WAP Plus is indeed our local internet based on the LumApps platform, and it stands for We Are Proximus. It's the go-to place where people can find the latest Proximus news. They can find a knowledge center. They can ask for help. They can post questions. They can participate in communities. They can find quick links to other applications. So actually the central place. Yeah.
I'm curious though, what does the plus mean?
The plus stands for the challenges that we had when moving from Jive to LumApps.
Okay.
Okay, so you wanted to improve it compared to the previous solution?
Yes, we wanted absolutely a social internet, where the interactions were not done only on commenting on standalone pages, but we wanted really the communities. We wanted a multilingual platform, as we daily speak 3 languages in Belgium. We wanted to have the 3 languages, the possibility to share the 3 languages on one conversation thread. We also wanted to reach all the functions and the profiles via a decent mobile app. And
because there's many different employee profiles.
Internal sales, people on the field, and so on. And also very important, we wanted a reliable vendor and good support.
And you found one.
Just on that also, you were saying communities. When you say communities, what did you want to represent with these communities? Well, I know what the feature is, but of course, what did you want to represent internally by communities? What does it stand for you?
For communities is really collaborating in one team, a department, or people of the same interests. So they can put posts on it. For instance, today our Proximus translator was down. So what we do, we put a post in and everybody of the IT department can see, okay, there is an issue. And if someone calls or logs a ticket, they can say, yes, there is an issue and that's the reason and so on. So we really want to communicate amongst each other.
Great.
Okay. So let's have a quick look at the numbers. So Proximus is our biggest customer in Belgium for the LumApps team and for Nevo team. So if you only look at the employees, you have over 11,000. If you add in the external collaborators, the subcontractors, there's 17,000, 18,000 employees, all connected with the same platform, which means, so we've heard the social communities are really important. You have the number here, so over 450 communities, which means over 900 people playing the role of community managers to moderate, to animate those communities. There's about 250 people working on that knowledge, which you referred to, Herman. So you have the knowledge base, all the knowledge articles, the department pages, etc. And you're doing a great job, I would say, because the recommendation score that the Proximus employees gave to the mobile app was 8.3 out of 10. Which is really great, but on the other hand, we see a whopping figure of 4 people actually managing the platform, so 4 enterprise community managers to enable all of this.
It must be really good, huh?
And Herman is one of the 4. So my question is, and with this kind of volume, how do you make the experience actually personalized? How do you make sure that people are not flooded with information, that there's no information overload, that it's relevant for me as an employee? How does that work?
Yeah, we strongly believe that personalization is built in the DNA of the solution that we have at this moment. For any content, we can easily target them to specific permission groups. It's a department or it's same interest that they have.
Yeah.
People can follow the communities of their interest, the communities of their department. And what's also important, we give the power to the users to follow content, specific content that they want to follow, like 5G or fiber, or maybe humor, or whatever, or employees, or influencers, and to be sure that they're not missing out anything, or that they're not bombarded with too many updates. Every user can tailor his own notification preferences.
So they can choose what they want to be notified about, but also how they want to receive it?
Yes,
because
they can receive it in the internet itself, or they can receive it via mail if they really want to. Yeah.
Or, more importantly, on the mobile app?
On the mobile app as well, when traveling by train in the morning.
Okay. So personalization is really key. We're going to come back at the end of the session on how you organize that in practice, because that's also a nice feature.
So your platform, of course, covers traditional intranet use cases like corporate news and knowledge articles, offering a portal to the apps and tools that your employees need. But what does WAP Plus help you do help you to go beyond and really make it an open and social space where everyone, has a voice?
WAP Plus goes indeed beyond the traditional internet because of the many social features it has, and we're glad for that. And we have a lot of official news coming from top down, given and published by the communications team. But we also have local news for the businesses, made in the businesses by dedicated business owners. We also stimulate blogging. Everyone can create a blog, write his experiences, his interests. And the goal is actually that we bridge the gap between the different functions of people, different departments, and even over the country. Next to the top-down, we also have, of course, the bottom-up interactions, and then we end up with the communities. We have a lot of communities, like a general support community, support for a specific application community for... I'm just going to do it out.
Just put it.
It's still...
Good shot. That's fine.
Yeah, learning communities for the locations and so on.
Yeah. And the most popular community from your point of view?
The most popular community, humor at telecom.
Yeah.
Everybody can put their joke about telecommunications in there, and if you need 50 minutes of to ease, then you go to that community and you can laugh.
On a more personal note, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are the average jokes on that community?
Let's say 7.
Okay. That's for the people watching. We'll get the answer backstage.
It's more than decent. Can you tell us a bit more about employee advocacy or social advocacy, which is a feature of LumApps, but you guys are really using it?
Yeah, that's indeed a built-in module. It's a module where everybody of the company can share the well-tailored posts, the inside posts to the outside world, to their friends, to the family, and they can use that via Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great way.
So they have also, again, a voice to the outside world.
Exactly. And so from company perspective, you're using the voice of your employees to amplify your brand presence on external social media.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So we've talked a bit about the use cases and the key features, but of course technology alone doesn't make it a success. So yeah, together with Inge and the business team, we focused a lot on the change management of putting this live. Can you share some of the creative solutions, the creative tactics that you put into place together with the business team to drive the adoption, to build up the usage of the platform?
So when we launched WAP on December 2nd, 2020, we were in a full lockdown, so everything had to happen virtually. Yeah. And therefore we did set up a campaign built around moving to a new home. And we built IKEA-like guides. We did set up get-to-know sessions to inform the users of the novelties that we have. We invested a lot in new and updated how-to support guides. We even have WAPman videos. That's the fourth member, Günther Payne, who creates his own videos, not Superman, but WAPman. Just short videos of 3 minutes to explain the basics of LumApps. And we also did set up a reverse mentoring for the leadership team, which are the young potential, the young professionals coaching our leaders.
So they did one-on-one sessions with the leaders, I think, yeah.
Those are some really, really creative and effective ways to boost adoption, and my personal favorite being WAPman on the platform. And I imagine that running such an employee experience platform such as WAP Plus at this scale with such a small number, as we saw 4, can be quite a daunting task. So how are you organizing the day-to-day and the management of the platform, especially on the business and IT side?
I can see on the slide, where are the robots?
Yes, Herman.
But there are no robots. We are only 4 people, 2 from the business, the communications team, and 2 from the IT side. And we work already for 5 years together as one team, so there is no business IT strange relation.
It's being recorded, Herman.
Yeah, I know.
So what do you have in place then to
yes,
sure
what do we do concretely? We support our end users via the WAP+ support community. Together we maintain the end user documentation. We have our governances, our processes, and our life cycle management in place. And while we focus on the technical aspects, then business focuses on the functional aspects. We also invested in automation.
Why is automation so important?
Automation is important for us because it's a big company with a lot of departments, and we want to be able to target the content personally. So really the word personalization is important. And therefore we did set up some technical processes between LumApps and Microsoft Azure, active groups and users. So we can link office groups, we can use distribution lists, upfront defined lists, own created lists. We can link them together so we can really target content for everyone.
Okay. And then the content hygiene, if somebody's wondering, so you have technology, you have processes, but when you run a platform of this scale where content is this important, it's also important to review regularly all of the content which has been published by those 250 publishers, right? To make sure it's fresh, it's up to date, and there's also processes for that, and I think you really are by...
We have also our internal request flows where users can, for instance, request new communities or delete their community, get metadata, and become a publisher and so on. We have also Power Automate flows to do the lifecycle management or to send reminder mails or welcome mails to the new community.
Nice.
And another thing for the daily tasks is the releases. We have to follow up the releases, and therefore we have a UAT platform next to the production platform where we first test all the new releases before we indeed release it on production and before we communicate to the end user.
Which means you probably have a lot of work because LumApps does releases
about every 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks they change.
We try to keep on touching that.
Correct.
Great, and then I think the most important thing is the people, the 4 people actively managing it, and then the support from your management to make this. Okay. So if we have one more minute, what's next on your roadmap to even improve the experience on the LumApps platform?
Yeah, we were always looking forward to improve and extend our customer experience, and one that's in the pipeline now, one of the major ones is the mobile app, which we could not really promote due to the COVID. And it's also on a voluntary basis that people install them on their mobile. So what we try to do is make the mobile app more and more attractive and essential for the user. For instance, for giving access to that social advocacy. We recently started with publishing the restaurant menus for the upcoming 2 weeks and for all the locations. And I can say the restaurant menus are every time in the top 10 of the analytics of the most visited pages. It's also in the pipeline. I said already we are going through a major agile transformation, and to support that we did set up next to the WAP+ intranet, we set up a subsite which is called Peak, and on that subsite we can find all information about the new way of working, methodology, what are the tribes, what are the squads, who's working together, even an agile who is who, and of course the transformation is ongoing, so the site is also ongoing.
Yeah, it's work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
A whip.
I maybe highlighted the last point and then we have to close off because our time is up. So the strategy community that you guys are planning, it's actually an illustration of the empowerment of the employees because it's going to be an open community where everybody can ask questions directly to top management to ask about or question the strategy of Proximus. So really bridging the gap between leadership and employees.
So it's not a top-down anymore. It's everybody
top-down.
For 1 year long.
And the great thing is that your leadership will also be actively monitoring and answering questions there.
And talking about robots, we're really looking forward to the recommendations, meaning targeting that content based on the behavior and interests of the people. So we are indeed for humans to manage the entire platform, but we welcome the 5th non-human.
Technology helps. Okay. Thank you so much, Herman and Chanel, for being here, sharing the story. If there's more questions, come find us during the drinks. We're more than happy to answer or get in touch. Okay. Thank you.